We'll be talking about that as well as the Ghana Football Association. Finally, I don't know whether to describe it as finally or not. They do not have a media broadcast rights partner officially. They said they are no longer going to negotiate with StarTimes again for the Ghana Premier League broadcast rights. They won't negotiate again. What is happening behind us is, in fact, Achu had done an interesting piece a few days ago or weeks ago about that relationship between the Ghana Football Association and StarTimes. And all of a sudden, the GFA says, we are not coming back to the negotiation table. And they have communicated that to StarTimes. Manchester United, it is a season that they are going trophyless, a season they are ending 16th on the Premier League table. What is happening in Manchester? Is it about time they begin to revise their nose in terms of both technical, playing body and management level of the club? We've got this and many more here on Game Plan. And I am Muftau Nabilat Abdullah. Today I'm sitting in for Achuta Maklo. He's sitting at the other end. He's supposed to be here, but he has moved there. And this show probably brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams. Betway, get way more. And before I bring you details of Betway and Petrosol, let me tell you something pretty quick about the Rep Your Jersey that is going to be happening at the Aviation Social Center on May 31. It is the day that the UEFA Champions League final would be happening. Inter Milan, they are in action against PSG. It is a season where teams that have not won trophies in a long while are doing so, especially in England, also in Italy. Crystal Palace won a trophy for the first time in their 119 years history. Newcastle won a trophy first time in about 70 years. And Bologna won a trophy first time in about 51 years. Tottenham Hotspur won a trophy for the first time in about 17 years. So you will need to join us at the Aviation Social Center on May 31. Let's have a look at which team is going to be winning that. But let me introduce my guests who are already seated. Sicho Fe, Flip, Ashrim, how are you? I like your white shirt.
Thank you.
And I like your cap.
Thank you, sir.
And I like your glasses.
Okay.
Victor Achitamaklo is going through his notes. I don't know what he's got there. Victor.
Just some old stuff. I was trying to refresh. Since you caught me off guard with
At times, then I was trying to refresh the old notes because it's been a while I worked on that story. But your people have saying that they don't want the thing they don't want to do again. So we did. They will go and chase their money. We wish them good luck.
Natino.
Wagwan.
Natino.
Star boy. Everything cool.
The last time that was here, there were some punches that were throwing on air.
But that they are fill up with Oh, my guy. How far with that issue though? How far with that case though?
Yeah, we'll talk about
it.
The ministry, not to get the feel like you not to get the feel like.
Boxing. He's boxing in Ghana.
In fact, not safe. He gets some boxing license B, it be coaching license or something. His license C or license D.
Latino. What a guy. Charlie, talk about that. There's a big fight night coming up on June the 13th, and it's a collaboration between Legacy Rise Sports and American Promotions with DAZN in the
I've seen some.
Right.
Very well.
And
So it's going to be...
They'll be honoring Azuma Nelson, right?
Exactly.
And you're the ring announcer, right?
Yeah, man.
Yo, man.
He gets select. Oh, these people, they worry.
Asking us in the scholarships
So quite a bit happening in the space, in the boxing space. Also, the report that he's just talking about, and they released by the Ministry for Youth and Sport, the Ministry for Sports and Recreation, beg your pardon. I've read the letter by the ministry, and administratively, what is important is that they give us such a letter to say that the work of the Amata Field-led committee has come to an end. What then remains is how to ensure that the body of the boxer the body of the late Olanrewaju Success
Yes.
is conveyed to Nigeria so
Is it
that his
still in
family.
Ghana?
It is still in Ghana. Yes, it is still in Ghana. Let's remember that there was an autopsy that had to be conducted, and I'm not a medical professional, but we all, from layman's perspective, do know that these processes sometimes take a while, depending on the circumstances, and we all do know what the circumstances were. As the minister has indicated, there are recommendations, and there's feedback that has been given, in this report, very comprehensive indeed. Obviously, there's no reference to anything specific in the report. However, what would pick up is that unfortunately the boxer, suffered a cardiac arrest in the ring, and that is what eventually resulted in his death.
So in the
And
100-page document, that is one of the things that you've.
Oh well, so what it is that this is from within the medical space, okay? That the unfortunate thing is that he suffered a cardiac arrest and that is what led to the eventual death, okay? You do remember that the last time we had a conversation about this, there was a lot of focus on what exactly the cause was. To the extent that those who were second and third recipients of the information, especially those who chanced on it on social media, assumed that the boxer died in the ring. That is not the case, and we always have to clarify that it's not the case. He did not die in the ring. Neither did he die within the Trust Sports Emporium, otherwise known as the Bukum Boxing Arena. He was transported to the hospital, and after he was, attended to by some doctors and some staff at the hospital, the unfortunate happened. So we have to, place them in context. Our friends at Sporty, spoke to the wife of the deceased boxer.
Yes.
She also expressed her misgivings about and her disappointments about how she's not been contacted by anybody and she's not had any form of support. But I'm sure that all of these are things that will be addressed as time goes on, because the boxer the boxer's body will be conveyed to Nigeria. I'm sure that will happen within the next week or two, and then after that, the rest will follow. Once again, we'd like to say our hearts go out to the affected family. It is never an easy thing, especially considering the kinds of circumstances, and knowing too that we found ourselves in a season where in boxing you had such an unfortunate death, and then in football as well you had the death of the Kotoko fan. You look at all of these scenarios and you don't. This is not what we want to see happen in our sport. We want to walk away with beautiful memories of stiff and strong competition, and records being broken, records being set, and inspiration for the younger generation so that they can reach for excellence. So for me, this is what it is. The cause of death has been established in the autopsy, and so what we're now waiting for will be the burial. The last thing we need to address going forward is that within the constitution of the Ghana Boxing Authority, the month of May is always set for an AGM to happen. Okay? Before this AGM is held, there is a specific time period that all licensees under the Ghana Boxing Authority have to receive audited accounts prior to the date in the month of May. What's today's date?
23rd.
Today's 23rd May.
Yeah.
Okay. It then happens as well, or it so happens that in the year of 2025, the whole boxing fraternity under the Ghana Boxing Authority have to go for Congress, an elective Congress, because the term of the current administration is coming to an end. Now, when you go in the background, you do realize that the constituent bodies of the sport, the members of all of these constituent bodies, are raising quite a number of issues. This is what I want to say here.
What are the issues they are raising first?
Well, I've said one of them already. I do not know if since we had the successful elective Congress which elected the current administration, you've ever heard of any annual general meeting and any takeouts from there. It has never happened. So that is a major problem that has to be dealt with. Okay? Now, do remember that the moment we start breaching the provisions within the constitutions that bind us and set up our respective organizations, then we know that we are not walking in the right path. That's how I'd like to put it. This is what I would want to say. It is my hope and prayer that as a boxing collective, we do not find ourselves in the frenzied mood that the Ghana Olympic Committee found itself some 15 years ago or some 12 years ago.
It's actually 12 years.
12 years ago.
Yeah.
That we also do not find ourselves in the not so pleasant circumstance that the Weightlifting Federation has found itself in the past 2 months. I'm saying this based on the minimum of 20-year work in this sport. I'll also add that boxing was celebrated heavily when lawyer Peter Zwenis was elected for his first term through a very smooth process at the Accra Stadium. And then a following Congress, which was another very smooth process. Then there was the last one, which was also a very smooth process. Once in a while, when we go and watch boxing at different venues, including the Bukum Arena, some fans try to misbehave. Sometimes we leave there with not so pleasant stories. But the organization of congresses, elective congresses, the last 3 elective congresses at least, have been very, very decent. Yes.
Just before you proceed,
yes.
Are you insinuating some constitutional breaches?
He's not insinuating, he's establishing it.
I'm coming. Are you insinuating some constitutional breaches? And if there are any, just as you've mentioned, in the last 3-4 years, there haven't been any annual general meetings. How come the constituent bodies within the Ghana Boxing Authority have not brought it to the attention of the leadership and told them that you have breached the constitution and you cannot continue to breach the constitution that governs all of us?
Well,
why hasn't there been anything?
okay,
like that?
so there are a few options. There is the option of you wanting, the suggestion of wanting to do maybe like an impeachment or wanting to call for an emergency Congress. There are processes you need to go through in accordance with our constitution. Now, in terms of bringing these things to attention, I believe that they have happened in the past. I do remember that the last time there was an attempt made to have an AGM, it was resisted because once again, the prior processes which we needed to adhere to had not been adhered to. So because of that, the general, body of boxing rejected it. It didn't happen. I believe strongly that there are individuals who have said things in the background and have brought this kind of feedback. Unfortunately, it has not worked. Now, the reason why I don't want to go into too much detail is that we're still in a process. Like I said,
but scratching these issues at the surface do not bring solution.
I know. But like I said, I'm being I'm doing all of this strategically, and I know why I'm doing this. Next week, if we come here and there's been a development, we'll go into it. But for now, what I want to say is that I do hope that a certain middle ground is found so that what is supposed to be and must be an elective Congress goes smoothly, so that all misgivings, all feedback, all disagreements with processes and all of that, decisions that have been taken in the past, some which may not even probably be in consonance with what we have in the Constitution, can be carried across, and we can have these conversations in a very civil manner, and we can move forward from there. This is because, like I said, we have a major event coming up, a major boxing event coming up. Taking it from there will be that other promoters who see what is sold to the rest of the world will also want to follow in that path, so that we have a very solid calendar that has very good fights, quality fights that can bring, promotional strength up. Okay. So for now, Muftar, like I said, let us just hope that as a body, when we go to sit and we have to have conversations about where we are and what we need to do regarding the elective Congress, we do it and we do it smoothly.
I would appreciate if we could raise up the Ghana Boxing Authority to have a conversation with them, just for the purposes of clarity, because not what you've basically painted is a group of leadership who do not have respect for the constitution that brought them to power. And that is not acceptable anywhere. If you got into office through the constitution that governs the sport, you must respect that constitution by ensuring that every single year the AGM is done. And also, when you get to the elective year, you organize the elective Congress for a decision to be taken whether you should continue as a leader or not. I don't know.
Look, why are you surprised?
I'm not entirely surprised because
Okay, so
take a look at our system.
here's the thing. Everything else that is happening is a function of two things. Is a product of two scenarios. The first one is that those organizations, those federations, are not properly structured, and the independence or the various constituent bodies by themselves are not strong enough to demand accountability and the fidelity to the constitution, right? So you would have a situation very much like the way the GFA became between 2000, when in the period Kwesi Ntachi ran the FA. The head became so powerful that whatever the statutes were, if he was not happy with something, he would go to Congress and he would whip people in line to change them, to the point where even the process of having the 2IC was changed. So many other things were. That is exactly what happens, except that in the football space, the GFA is by a million miles better run and better structured than those clubs. And I'm using this example just to give you a sense of what is going on. Because
other sporting associations.
Yes. Yeah. So even if the GFA that we say is way better run and way better structured than these federations, even at that level, Kwesi Ntachi was able to do this. So they were told Ketekuriku and the current administration are thinking about a third term. It should put matters into context as to what happens at the significantly weaker federations. And it's not just one, because we've had the weightlifting example. We had the issues at the table tennis federation.
Yes, yes.
I don't want to get into all of those issues, but they are one of the same. One person can become so powerful to the extent that when it is time for Congress, he would say that I won't hold the elective Congress. And there is nothing, be it impeachment, there are no clauses that anyone can activate, because there is so much.
Something briefly before you continue. Sorry for cutting. Muftar. So, Victor has placed the conversation, on another leg, which is very, very important. And that is to establish the fact, once again, I mean, he said it, but I need to buttress it, that many of our associations, okay, and we're saying this on authority, many of our associations are guilty of this
cannibalism.
Well, I would say lack of adherence. I would say
you call that cannibalism?
It's cannibalism.
Yes, this lack of adherence, and I'll tell you why. There's this running cycle of low funding, lack of resources, because of which federation presidents, top officials of some of the associations who have deep pockets and have the means and have the resources become benefactors, to the extent that now they say, listen, if I'm not here, we cannot function and we cannot live, or we cannot get the job done. Therefore, nobody else has a voice. In previous years, we've seen it happen between maybe a president and his or her vice, and similar, where
there will be lots of drama everywhere.
Exactly, where you have such situations, the same stories that we always come to run in every season of our journalism, where we come to tell you a national team has to travel, they do not have the money, they are at the airport, they have to buy tickets, they cannot go, they're supposed to camp somewhere, they can't camp, and because of that their other opponents are ahead of them form-wise. These stories have not stopped. I don't know when these stories are going to stop in our sector. And so this is something that is not limited to the two federations we're talking about, but many other federations whose stories have not come to light because people may not necessarily focus on them. So for me, what is important here is that we are running administrative bodies under a system of law, and the documents or the set of rules and regulations that bring everybody's administration or give them legitimacy are these same rules and regulations by which we're supposed to run. Unfortunately, they do one end of it and leave the other end. So every other time they're found.
And you know why this pertains? It is because you have very few men of value and substance in a lot of these federations. So everything the GOC, everything Ghana Athletics went through between 2012 up until now, and maybe a few years before then, as bad as it was, the running theme I saw from all of those years of reporting was that you now have powerful people, resourceful people. And if you look at the quality of people then, you had former ambassadors, you have lawyers who had about 20 years, 15 years at the bar, right, competing for elections. You had someone who had run, I mean, from my first introduction to Bar Husseini, before he became, then he was someone who today could contest for Ghana Athletics elections and win. But back then, he was still someone who was going through the ranks, right? It just showed you the quality of minds at that level. So you have all of these people, powerful business people, going into that space. What it did for Ghana Athletics, what it has done for Ghana Athletics, what it did for GOC, and what it has done for GOC is that it cuts away a lot of the nonsense that these other federations are entertaining. Because over there, everyone is knowledgeable enough, sophisticated enough to be able to withstand any funny games. So in all of the years that GOC held those, if there were any incidents where one person said, I won't hold elective Congress, it probably happened once or twice. Every other time, there were other side issues that they took to court. Right? But
sometimes I find some of these things quite fun. Because the people who have voted you into power have got the power to vote you out.
But I'm saying I've simplified the thing.
How do you become so powerful to the extent that no one...
Because it is a one-man federation. So in all of those other spaces, the people of substance, and you see, what boxing is suffering is because all of the other people are disinterested. It's not like there are no prominent persons, but if you go to the recent elections, the last GOC elections, who was the moderator? Peter Zwenis.
Yeah.
He's not dead. The interest to get into this kind of politicking at the GBA is just not there. He no longer has the energy for that kind of thing. He has served his time. He is prepared to be graceful enough to allow, and it has its benefits. Except, of course, the other people who are supposed to be the guardians of the code of conduct there, the constitution that they run with, have all gone to sleep. And so in the absence of similar men like Peter Zwenes, like Lawyer Moses Formini and all of those people, these things will happen. But you see, it should not, if the state agencies who are supposed to check the various federations do their job. And I'm talking here about the NSA and, unfortunately, national security. Instead of the instead of the NSA insisting, so after the first year, and you see the GBA thing is so disappointing because we know for a fact that if anything at all, the current occupant of that office is not exactly an MPP person. So in the period that he was deciding that I won't go to Congress, it should be easier for an MPP NSA boss to write to the GB and say, this is what the law says. That one is not political witch hunting.
Aren't you calling on politicians
to
interfere?
No, I'm saying that is what the law says. The law mandates the NSA to check the federations.
So the politicize it to...
No, I only said that. You see, political associations, and again, become an encumbrance. Look, yeah, if the person who's holding that office is their party member, it is easier for them to look the other way. So I'm saying that this case, there was no conflict of interest and such loyalty clashes. The person is not even your party member. How are you sitting down for 4 consecutive years? The person is not going to Congress, and you are sleeping on the job.
No, actually, you see one thing.
So just to end
AGM, just let's
Yes.
correct ourselves. AGM,
Just to end it.
annual general meeting.
Annual-
is what you are talking
what should happen is that this one, there is a state, we don't need any fresh laws or anything. No. There is a state agency there, the NSA. Their job is to check these federations. If you are flouting the regulations, they call you to order. We are not saying go and
But
arrest anybody.
But that's the problem, isn't it? Because even though the NSA is there in law, back with all the powers to check these federations, the only way they are really able to check these federations is if the state is somewhat sponsoring affairs and development of the federations. So if the state is not doing their part, because the NSA is there to work in the interest of the state. So the state is saying, okay, I have boxing programs for amateur boxers. I have boxing programs for boxing coaches. I've got boxing days for professional boxers. There are scholarships they can access. These funds that they can access for their training. We are building these gyms for them. We've done all of that for them. And then the NSA is manning all of it. Then the state has offered its part of the deal. They are sponsoring athletes to improve and get to the professional level. So then NSA can properly oversee. You can't just sit at the stadium as NSA and only talk about federations and associations when their elections are coming around, when their AGMs are not being organized.
Well, Sicho, that becomes a default function. Let's not. I get where you are coming from. In the absence.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that the NSA is supposed to seek accountability from all these associations and federations, right? But what are they accounting for to the NSA?
When you have not contributed.
When you have not, in yourself or in your position, done what you are supposed to do. And I tell you what, and as Mr. Atto said, most of these deep pockets, lovers of specific sports, who fund
demigods.
Yes, who fund these disciplines, and credit to them, they do some great work. Without them, some of these federations are nowhere, right? I sometimes have a feeling that some of them, I'm not saying all, some of them are happy with the states of a lot of the federations, because the longer they stay this way, the more powerful they become. Because I think that at some point, if you are selfless, you can start funding certain things, help them to get the house in order, put their books together, and access some funding from the global associations. Because most of these associations that have global associations, they've got some funding coming from them, they've got some support, they've got some exchange programs, many things. But because we don't do things well here in Ghana, it's impossible to access some of these benefits. So I think that I've always said it, that no country, no sports in any country will thrive without the 100% eagle eye from government. It won't work. It's not possible that we run sports the way we run it, and we expect federations and associations to be functional, be responsible, not to be selfish, and to develop and improve. Look, we are asking for something we won't have if government doesn't even have policies to drive these things. What are the policies driving these?
There was and to add to yours, I remember some years ago there was a particular federation that wanted to call the bluff of the National Sports Authority,
Right.
on the pure basis that they had never received any form of funding in that particular year, and beg your pardon, they had done everything in terms of being in good standing with the International Federation.
Right.
So because of that, they did not necessarily need the Sports Authority, based on which at the point they were calling the bluff. So that is one typical example of what you're talking about now.
I'm referring to what happened in 2021.
Today
you can't keep a secret.
The guy's massaging things, so we can't do it.
Today it's very deliberate, where Muftao.
So I mean, it has to be a collaboration, right? Associations and federations must do their part put their house in order, get the access they can get, the help they can get from the international bodies. But as the states, NSA, you need to be right in there with them, hand in hand. Every NSA should have an expert from. Who is the boxing experts on the in NSA? Who is that for swimming? Who is that for this and that? Like the NSA is not just national.
Technical.
Like, you need technical people who will be advising these directors and these politicians that it is true that for instance the hockey federation, this is what they need. This is what we need to do for them in the next 2 years. We need to develop this program for this and that, so that it is more comprehensive. But the NSA is even understaffed. The NSA, as we speak, don't even have technical people who will make technically informed decisions about a lot of these federations. They have to come back to these federations, and what the federation tells them, it's exactly what they are going to work with.
Peter Chimesi was asked to recruit 250 people. Where are they? This show is an interactive show. You can reach us on 055 1111 and 055 1111 We've been joined on Zoom by the gentleman in Tumu. We'll be going to Tumu pretty soon. Fetio, how are you?
Very well. We are fine. We are fine. We are fine. We are fine.
You and who are the we? You and who are the we?
I'm here. The we. Karim is here. Felix is over there. James is coming.
Charlie, Fentio, freeze the guinea fowl.
Yeah.
Hey, Charlie.
Hi.
When on your return, you have to freeze the guinea fowl, eh? Freeze the guinea fowl and make sure it gets here in as many pieces as possible. Okay, that's for later.
Yes, please.
Please.
Yes, please.
Fetio, since you are here, let me just talk to you.
Hey, Sicho, I went to my village today. My uncle said he has a fight with you.
Karim sends me the videos. Brilliant one. I apologize to him. He says I was dancing with Ramadan lost. I mean, we had a lovely conversation. Look, brilliant stuff. You know, it's unfortunate I couldn't make it, but I absolutely enjoyed having a conversation with him.
Yeah, as for Mr. Nathaniel, I thought if he come my village, they go shave his head off. But it's been wonderful to be back home. I have to be honest. You know, today I spent a lot of time going from village to village. Fortunately for me, when I came, they were doing inter-circuits. I mean, any of you who went to primary school or basic school in any of those areas, you know what I'm talking about. Inter-circuits, sports competition, sports festival. They gathered all the kids from over 74 schools at the circuit level, and there was sports going on there. When I got there, I think it was the women's or the girls' final was done, and the boys' final was about to happen. So I got there in really good time, and all the kids were gathered around. So the circuit supervisors, they allowed me to speak to the kids, and I gave them. I gave every circuit football. So it was really wonderful to get there at that particular time.
Hey, how many circuits are there?
There are 9 circuits. So every circuit got 2 footballs. So we gave away 18 footballs today.
Potential MP.
No.
I didn't want to add that one.
At that circuit. And you know the thing is, I didn't even know the circuit competition was happening. I just chanced on it. So, but it was good to see that, and then, of course, be able to help. Then we went to a couple of hometown. That's Van Boy. That's where Sisho had somebody to pick a beef with Sisho, and then we also went to Bugubele. Bugubele is where I went to primary school and JSS, because the time I was growing up, there was no primary school or JSS in my village. I was walking to a nearby village for primary school and elementary school all the way to JSS. So I went back there as well and gave them some more footballs and stuff. So today I gave away over 30 footballs to basic schools that are around the area. And that was part of what we tried to do with the Tumu Community Cup. We wanted some tangibles for some of the people to be able to benefit. One of the things that they have to know is that because Betway, which is a betting company, are supporting us, we cannot involve kids that are under 18 years of age at the competition level. So that's why we had to leave that out. But then I thought the best thing that I can do for them is to be able to go back and donate some football. So that came from courtesy a lot of my friends, including some of you and some other friends that saw that we were doing a good thing, and then they decided to contribute. So I think that overall it's been a very fruitful venture. As far as the actual competition itself is concerned, that will happen tomorrow from 7 a.m. at the Tumu Stadium AstroTurf. And guess what, guys? Those of you who didn't believe that Tumu, we have AstroTurf. There it is, live and talent. Tomorrow, all the action will happen at this AstroTurf. We did a draw at a local radio station yesterday. All the representatives from the different communities came, and it was exciting, I'll be honest. And the way they were very prompt in coming, I thought they would not even show up for the draw, but we gave them 5. Everybody was there at that exact time, and they came from various villages, you know. So there is a certain level of discipline that the people move with in this area, and I'm very excited about that. You know, tomorrow we're expecting a look at the whole stadium to be filled with people, and we went to see the chief yesterday. I saw him again today as well, and he's excited. Christopher Nimley and Cranston themselves, they arrived in Wa this morning, and they are currently en route to Tumu. That should take them about 2.5 to 3 hours to get here, alongside James Sowa and Felix Romark, so many other friends who made the trip here to try and help and make this a success. I think that, you know, everybody that listens to us or have been following us, they know how famous Tumu is, but nobody really knows what Tumu looks like. They just know the name. And so this should really be able to open up the place and show a positive side of where I come from. And
Fenty, just
really
a quick one. Fenty, Matt will be speaking to you pretty quick, but I just want to hear from you. What inspired this initiative?
I think, you know, it's just one of those things where you get to a certain level and then you kind of feel bad that you haven't really done anything for your people. So I think I probably, you know, when you're young and you are excited with a lot of energy, you don't start to think about those things. You don't start to think about legacy. But after 10 years in the industry, I started to have that conversation with myself. Like today, if I leave this job, what would I have done for my people?
It appears someone is probably calling Fentio, so his network is misbehaving because they heard him from Tumu, so they want to be sure that he's indeed speaking from Tumu because the network is too clear.
Yeah. So while we wait for
he's back. Fenti's back.
Who was calling you? Who was calling you?
It's because somebody was calling me.
Absolutely.
Was calling me. So I was going to say that, you know, you get to a point, you start to think legacy, right? So I thought this would be a great initiative to bring a community together. It's a very good form of social cohesion. And it's coming at a time where, you know, there's a lot of like, you know, conflict happening here and there. But these people, like in Tumu here, we're very
united. You're peaceful people. Yeah.
Very united people. It's important to show that aspect to the world because I've been in conversations where people lump Tumu and every other place in the north together as a place where there's conflict. But you come here and there's nothing like that happening here. So it's important to create a positive image of this area because, you know, we are the biggest producers of maize, not just in Ghana, but if you take the whole of West Africa, the Sahara districts are some of the biggest producers of maize in this country. And it's important to tell that story. So I think ultimately that was the inspiration. Do something, bring your people together. Because even apart from the schools that are getting all these footballs and this stuff that we are donating, there are also 2 other things that we're doing. So all the communities that are coming are going to go back home with a full set of jerseys and footballs, all the teams that are coming here. Some of them will get cash prizes from 1st to 3rd, And there's a community here that we are also trying to use the Betway Power Up program to bring a certain sort of energy, because it's not every community here that has electricity. Some of them do not have electricity. And so we're trying to install solar charging panels and give out solar lamps. But you see, this is one of the unfortunate things that keep happening, and is why we continue to be left behind in terms of development. When Betway guys came for the recce, from Tumu to the village without the electricity was 5 hours. And that is in the same district. And this is not because the place is far. It's because the place is basically inaccessible. So they went there and came back, and they spent the whole day on the trip. When they came back and they wanted to do this, they said, this is not something we can do alongside the football, because that is something that will take a full day on its own. So what we are going to do is we're going to do them as two separate projects. So, and I'm very inspired and very happy that they're deciding to do this. And when I come back to Accra, I think it's something else that we can do. Try to see how we can connect certain communities without electricity to sources of power, because they have schools. And these children do not have electricity to learn. They cannot learn in the evening. They cannot learn when it's dark. And I don't want them to go through that, because that's what I went through. Because there was no electricity in my village until 2012. I finished university in 2010. So even 2 years after I graduated university, before electricity came to my village. So all of the time that I was in primary school up to JSS, I was learning with lantern. And the lantern, we buy the kerosene on market days. The market days take 6 days for the next market day to go and buy. Sometimes the kerosene that we buy, it doesn't last the full market cycle. And so if the kerosene might finish maybe 4 days or 2 days to the market day. And sometimes when you are using the kerosene to learn, they think that is a useless activity, because they need that kerosene to power that lantern.
That's true.
For other important things. Exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
It was a struggle, and I really can't believe that in 2025 there are still communities in this district that still have school children that are going through what I went through between 1993 and 2001. And it's unbelievable. But it's great that we have forward-thinking corporations that are thinking in this direction. And Piva beverages have also been very helpful in all of this endeavor, because clearly,
okay, it seems someone has called Fentio again. But these things he's saying, you have been to the northern part. In fact, they had light 2012. I had my 2016, 4 clear years before my village got light.
And these stories will bring goosebumps, especially for people who are not exposed to the realities of our friends in these parts of the country. Now, this kind of journalism and this kind of social work is the reason why I bask in the pride of choosing sports journalism, and I'll tell you why. Now, here is an AstroTurf pitch sitting in a place which is suffering all forms of neglect and inadequacies when it comes to development, and has a completely different picture from those in the urban side of this country.
Sure.
Now, this is the reason why they say football is a melting pot for all the aspects of our society. That Fento and a few friends from corporate Ghana have come together and have put resources together to give hope to young people and people who on a regular day do not even have the means to dream of a life beyond that limitation that they have over there. And these are some of the ideals of FIFA, because FIFA always looks to promote the good of the game and to promote social well-being. Look, a couple of years ago, and you mentioned rightly that I do a lot of social work, which takes me to different parts of the country, including northern Ghana. And I have some personal friends who also have emerged from northern Ghana and are playing key roles in society. We all have our father figure, Alhaji Karim Gruza. We have, my good friend, Alhaji Dr. Farouk Aliu Mahama, son of the late Vice President Alhaji Aliu Mahama. I remember very well that a couple of years ago, when he was celebrating his birthday, he decided that we do a chain of events which are socially oriented. Now, the highest point of all of them was a football tournament And we had this on a pitch which is referred to as, in informal terms, as Sakura,
Yeah.
which was not a grassed pitch. at the
Sakura
time,
Park.
in Yendi, in the heart of Yendi. Yendi is about an hour and a half drive from Tamale.
Yeah.
And guys, you would be amazed at the kinds of talents that I saw on the day. The kinds of talents that I saw gave me so much encouragement about the talent pool that we have in this country. Just amazing. Now, you fast forward and you talk about my work with the McDan Foundation as a lead, volunteer. And it's taken me to different parts of northern Ghana where we've had to build schools for, take children out of
Mr. Ato, you have to go and construct one AstroTurf in my village.
Don't worry, it will small it will come. And
about 2 years ago, I started something like that. I started a conversation like that for
and we have to
in the
commend
area.
you for it. Look,
And they were telling me, if you chest cry, you don't get.
yeah, and we have to commend yourself and Fentu and all of us who are into this space, because you see the kind of impact you're making qualifies you on a very light note to take part in the
Join these impact
awards.
makers.
But this one will be conflict of interest. So
MFA was look
I've
at
banned
this,
all of you. Yeah, MFA, I've banned them already. Don't worry.
A young man who has been able to provide pension for over 200 school children. Just add me as an impact maker, you will not add me.
And so I want to just quickly wrap up so that they can also contribute. Look, this is the reason. This is the essence of sport, because you look at all the measures of demographics and you realize that every single person can play sport, no matter how young you are, no matter how old you are. And so this is the essence of sport. We're standing on the leg of sport to bring massive development to an area which on a regular day cannot be given any light, or cannot or whose plight cannot be brought to the attention of those who have the means to make a change in their lives. And I'll wrap up with the experience I had in Tamale when the independence celebrations was taken to the Northern Regional Capital, and this was when the peace pact was signed, in Dagbang. Look, I remember that we had, a full boxing night called the McDan Amateur Boxing Challenge. Guys, once again, I saw a lot of raw talents. Guys who did not necessarily have technique, but had conditioning and pure power. It was just amazing. And so one of the things that we also have to take up as a collective when it comes to the sport of boxing in northern Ghana is to invest in infrastructure and in technical hands who can go and be stationed there and can, pursue a sustained plan, maybe over 5 or 6 or even 8 years, to bring the next set of boxers. Trust me, guys, it is amazing. You don't want to believe what can be drawn from there. And coincidentally, a boxer who draws his roots to Tamale, who lives in Accra, was the one who won the tournament. Was the overall best boxer. Amazing stuff. So this is a very laudable initiative. These are the kinds of things we should be celebrated for, and I'd like to celebrate Fentu and the rest of the team. It's amazing.
Daniel Cranton.
So why is he wearing Arsenal jersey?
Daniel Cranton eliminated.
Christopher Dimley. What's up?
So why do I ask not just?
Why no be He said his wife supports Arsenal. That's why he's wearing the jersey.
Danike and Nimli just got here. Let them tell you about the journey here.
Exactly what I was about to ask. Danny, what was the experience like?
That no be road, though. That no be road.
If you what?
In the farm.
Daddy, can you remember I told you yesterday? I told coach yesterday that the road was going to be the problem, but they will enjoy it.
Charlie, but look, truth be told, look, I have to be a friend to the MP. Dr. Mohammed.
Oh God! I think someone has called through the phone again. But just a quick one. Let me tell you something about Betway. It is time to get rewarded as the next big sports betting influencer with Betway. Place bets and share your codes with friends, fans, and followers. If they place bets using your code, you earn 4% of their wager. Doesn't matter if it is a win or a loss. If they bet, you earn cash. And the more people that bet with your code, the more you will earn. Start betting, sharing, and winning Bet Influencer exclusive to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway, get way more. And the ninth CEO Summit and Expo. Dear esteemed CEOs, join us at the ninth Ghana CEO Summit and Expo, the nation's leading business leadership conference, connecting over 500 top CEOs and dignitaries globally. The date is Monday, 26 May 2025. The venue is Kempinski Hotel, Gold Coast, Accra. Time is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And let me tell you something quick. Yeah, I need to add one. This the founder of this CEO Summit supported my furniture project too. So I have to talk. Dr. Ejui, thank you very much for your generosity towards the school children of Dew. The theme for this year's event is Leading Ghana Economic Reset, Transforming Business and Governance for a Sustainable Futuristic Economy, a Private-Public Sector Dialogue and Learning. This summit will explore how transformational leadership, sustainability, digital innovation, and governance reforms can reset Ghana's economy. Special guest of honor is His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. Key highlights include CEO case presentations, public-private dialogues, panel sessions, master classes, keynote speeches, expert insight, CEO Excellence Awards, and strategic CEO Connects. Powered by Ghana CEO Network in partnership with Deloitte, PwC, EY, GIPC, SIGA, Media General, and Multimedia Group, inspiring business leadership and economic transformation. And Petrosol Platinum Energy. Hello, Ghana. Remember the excitement, the dreams we fueled together? For 10 incredible years, Platinum Energy celebrated with you in the Energizing Dreams promo. We poured joy into your journeys, rewarded your loyalty, and shared in your aspirations. But as the sun rises on a new day, so too does a new chapter for Petrosol Platinum Energy. While the anniversary celebrations have concluded, our promise remains unwavering to be your trusted partner on every road in every endeavor. Petrosol Platinum Energy, triple ISO certified, multiple award winning, with over 100 stations nationwide. We continue to deliver the quality fuels and lubricants you depend on. We remain committed to energizing your dreams, fueling your progress, and powering Ghana's growth. Our tagline says it all: Petrosol, energizing dreams. It is not just a slogan, it is our enduring commitment to you. Visit any of our over 100 stations across Ghana and experience the Petrosol difference. Quality you can trust, service you can rely on. Petrosol Platinum Energy, still energizing your dreams today and always. And again, Betway, it is time to get rewarded as a next big sports betting influencer with Betway. Place bets and share your codes with friends, fans, and followers. If they place bets using your code, you will earn 4% of their wager. Doesn't matter if it is a win or a loss. If they bet, you earn cash. And the more people that bet with your code, the more you will earn. Start betting, sharing, and winning with Bet Influencer, exclusive to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway, get way more. Sicho, let me go back to Fentio. Fentio, what are you eating? Have you got some kulikuli in the village?
Oh no. Hey, coach. Let me tell you what happened. The temperature is so hot that when I was talking, then the phone said that it was too hot.
It was too hot.
That's how hot you get. But Granting and Nimley are back here. You had a question for him.
Yes, I asked why he was wearing Arsenal jersey, and also to tell me about the experience of flying all the way to Tumu. You finally gone to Northern Ghana, Danny. You say you wanted to experience Northern Ghana. You are there. Tell me the experience.
We didn't fly to Tumu. We flew to Wa. From Wa to Tumu.
That's the journey.
See, if coach doesn't give me some concoction when I come back, I'll be on some 2-month break because my waist. That is not a road.
What is it? What if it's not a road? What is it?
Look, my brother, to be honest, I was telling the guys in the car. So is this where Fent originates from? No. Look, this man,
Is it the farthest you've ever traveled?
Forever remain grateful to God. Look, the elevation from this place to where he is now. Now God will for all time. But look, to be honest with you,
But it's not possible.
it is just not possible. But with God, all things are possible. And like I was trying to say earlier on, the two MPs, the Sisala West
And East.
and Sisala East MPs, look, my brother, from today when I come to Accra now, they are my friends. I need to meet them quick. They have to do something about this road. Jesus Christ. This cannot be allowed to continue.
And we produce the most maize in this country.
The most maize is when it comes to maize. This is where it originates from.
Yes.
Nowhere in Ghana produces maize than Tumu.
We transport them on this road.
And the maize are transported on this road to Accra.
Coach, just a quick one. No, did Fen tell you that? In fact, Dr. Hillel Imam is from that end, and that those roads are quite unfortunate.
The road to his hometown. And my comment was former president too. The moment they told me this is Dr. Hillel Iman's road leading to his hometown, to Golu, and I told myself, Jesus Christ, Ghana, we are not serious at all. The fact that we have a former president from this area alone warrant that the road should be a top class, first class road.
Actually.
Dr. Mohammed Adam Saburu.
That is where. And then Mohammed Bataglia.
And then Mohammed Bataglia.
Mohammed what? Bataglia.
Mohammed Bataglia. Look, you are my friend.
Calm down. I mentioned your name well.
When I live here, I'm going to their office by hook or crook. By hook or crook.
They are both Mohammed.
They are both Mohammed. Look at their names too.
Mohammed Super.
If the mountain will not go to Mohammed will go to the mountain. Or
You said?
I said if the mountain will not go to Mohammed will go to the mountain. Or what did they say?
No, they'll become my friend because of the road. Wait, they have to team up, the two of them. They have to team up, fix it, fix this road. And look, if they can do that, it's a legacy. And they'll forever chop the MPR till they die. I'm telling you, my brother.
Just as Fent has taken a very huge legacy to that area. In fact, just a few days ago, and Fent, I want to give you something from the former president of the Ghana Football Association. He was telling me about how Tumu has got so many talented footballers who are underexplored. And this initiative by you, if you are able to get scouts within that area to be able to scout some talents, it will really, really give young players opportunities.
I think after this one, that
do
be the
great
next
things for the area. Those were the words of the former president of the Ghana Football Association. Thank you.
Exactly. Exactly. Look, I was telling them in the car, if you look at the journey, I was just telling DK and the other guys in the car that, look, I wish I would get just one player tomorrow. We will bring the boy to Accra. Whatever we need to do to make sure that boy earns a decent living from football because of his talent. And the fact that he would have been deprived of proper football opportunities will bring the person to Accra. I'm telling you honestly.
We always say that the difference between here and the people that are playing for the national team is opportunity.
Exactly.
Because look, I'll give you an example. If Abedipele's parents hadn't moved down south, you think he would have made it out?
And out of that, we've gotten Jordan. Andre, what about the father himself? The father himself. So look, it is all about opportunity.
It's an opportunity.
I said, look, the
not a lack of talent.
The pitch too is well laid.
Yes.
And the ball if you look at this pitch, it's well laid. AstroTurf, well laid. So tomorrow, my brother, I wish you'd be here. To be honest, I'm happy I'm here. Yeah. I'm so glad. Very. This is the fastest journey I've ever embarked on in Ghana. I've never
So Chris, a couple of things I would like you to taste. I would like to taste kulukuli. I don't know if you have tasted kulukuli before.
Write it down.
I would also like you to taste.
Where is kulukuli to kuta?
No, it's made of Ghana.
You know kutament.
Okay, wait. Have you heard of bitter before?
Have I heard of what?
Bitter. Have you heard of bitter before?
No,
Bitter is very bitter. Now it's for Kutre.
and that one is for Kutrin. So before you mention, give me the one I need for Kutrin first. Then we can talk about the other one. So stop this.
Gentlemen.
so excited.
Daniel. Daniel, have you spoken to your wife? Have you told your wife you arrived safely?
But when you come back from the north,
I will take some of the bito to fix my waist so that I can resume the action.
and when you are in the north, when you go back, she must know.
She must know. Because we have heard of testimony from the north.
And in fact, Fencho, this is also the share nut season. So let them get some share nuts. This is a season.
Yeah, the share trees are everywhere. They've never seen one before. They don't know where the share butter comes from. I'll show them. I'll show them.
And they show them some CCTV.
Thank you guys so much.
I took these are the places you should come. Oh. Stop this.
I took in his coat of many colors. He's wearing his coat of many colors. And he's sitting there when you should be here in your coat of many colors.
This is where you can gain all the resources to be of a good shelter in Accra.
And also to marry.
So what is wrong now? Someone.
When?
Guys, thank you. Moved out. If I leave you with these people, you will not do a serious show. But thank you so much, guys, for the support.
Guys,
Thank you so much.
All the best to
We truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
From day one, from you, Sicho, Achu, Granting, and Nimli have come here. So many other people, Gary, OTJ, so many people have reached out to support, and I'm truly, truly grateful for everything that and all the support that you guys have shown to this, because certainly it's not easy, but I'm so happy that I'm able to do this, and your support has been amazing. Thanks to Betway, thanks to Piva as well, and thanks to all the individuals, and yourselves who have reached out in one way or the other to try and even check on me and see how this is going, and all the people who have offered their services. I had so many people who were offering to come and volunteer, but we didn't have resources to be able to bring everybody here to participate in the organization of this. But hopefully tomorrow goes all well, and then but God willing, by Sunday we'll be back in Accra.
Thank you, and all the best to all of you out there. And to be able to do this is a massive thing. Thank you. The kind of unity you are bringing to all the communities that are going to be there to participate, the excitement, the joy. It is one of a kind. You can't quantify that, and
it's crazy.
I wish you and the guys
crazy.
all the best. Hopefully, this is something you can sustain with the right support. You and I have spoken behind the scenes on so many things that hopefully will make this thing a success, and hopefully we'll be able to get the right people to throw their weight behind it to make it a successful event and become an annual event. So I wish you guys all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. So we'll see you on the other side.
Cheers, guys. All the best.
All the best.
Cheers.
Back to the studio now. Let's have some conversation. We're about 30 minutes to the end of the show. We are on Joy 99.7, also on His 103.9 FM. If you just tune in, this is Game Plan, and this is an interactive show. You can reach us on 055-1111-997, and you can also tweet us using the hashtag Game Plan. Before I come to the guys, just to share the thoughts briefly before we touch on Man United and the FA thing. Let me tell you about the Rep Your Jersey. Ghana, are you ready? The battle line has been drawn. Are you ready for the clash between the Italian giants Inter Milan and the French giants PSG? One dream, one cup, one final chance. Who will carry the trophy home? Swag up your jerseys irrespective of your football clubs. Get ready for the loads of fun, entertainment, and amazing prizes to be won at the Aviation Social Center starting as early as noon as we climax the UEFA Champions League in grand style. Activities include the Jama Wash and Field Contest, a sports quiz, 5-a-side soccer, the Champions League anthem competition, and many more. The His FM Rep Your Jersey 2025. Mark the date. It is Saturday, 31st May 2025. And the venue is the Aviation Social Center. And the time is noon till late. Follow us on our social media platforms using the hashtag Rep Your Jersey. The His FM Rep Your Jersey is powered by Joy Sports and the Joy Prime channel and sponsored by SoccerBet, your best bet for sports betting, TCL, Inspire Greatness, Franco Trading Enterprise, Telephone, Papa Palfi, Akuno Ginger, Afriwara, Waka Now, Anything Travel, Waka Now, Day for You, Day by Day Men, Strong and Refined, ITEL A90, truly durable and colorful. The Game Energy Drink, feel the energy. Citizen Sports, level up your game. Heritage Christian College, University, educating compassionate entrepreneurial leaders. Shout Talks, Lozenges, the natural sore throat reliever. Flame Condoms, ignite your passion. DSTV, feel every moment. And the Joy News Impact Makers finalists, they are finally here. Joy News proudly presents the top 10 impact makers, our extraordinary individuals transforming communities through education, health, girl-child empowerment, and innovation. From after-school programs in Kesaman to mental health advocacy in the Ashanti region through to solar in the Upper West region, clean water projects, inclusive education, women's empowerment, and more. These are the true agents of change in marginalized communities across the country. Catch their inspiring stories on Joy News as we honor the selfless individuals reshaping lives one step at a time. The Joy News Impact Makers Awards is brought to you by McDown Foundation, empowering futures, building communities, Gold Key Properties, transforming the landscape, MNC Group Global, Totally Reliant, German Oxo Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness, and Beauty, Latex Foam, your partner for life, Ghana CEO Summit and Expo, inspiring business leadership and economic transformation. Joy News Impact Makers Awards, celebrating ordinary people making extraordinary impacts. And once again, it is time to get rewarded as the next big sports betting influencer with Betway. Place bets and share your codes with friends, fans, and followers. If they place bets using your code, you will earn 4% of their wager. Doesn't matter if it is a win or a loss. If they bet, you earn cash. And the more people that bet with your code, the more you will earn. Start betting, sharing, and winning with Bet Influencer. Exclusive to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway, get way more. Gentlemen, let me come to the studio. Let's wrap up pretty quick. Before we talk the Europa League final, Sichu, the Ghana Football Association and StarTimes, they finally gone separate ways. The FA says that they are not going back to the negotiation table to have any discussion about a potential relationship with StarTimes anymore. They want to use legal processes to be able to get the money StarTimes owe them. What does this mean for Ghana football in general, especially the Ghana Premier League?
Well, it means it means the Ghana Premier League is not going to be seen on StarTimes, at least until this administration is over. But administratively, business-wise, I don't think you ever want to say never to any partner. I mean, you can say for now you are not going to go ahead until that is done. In the meantime, you want to use your legal team to, to get the money that they owe you. The truth of the matter is that StarTimes were never going to make profits from the franchise they were covering. And again, if StarTimes is promising to pay an X amount of money, it is simply because they expect that some viewership will increase, some boxes will be bought, some subscription will be paid, and out of that money, they are making a projection of paying you a certain amount of money. But look, I have been privileged enough to work with a group, with a company. I've seen the numbers, and I've seen people who watch the Ghana Premier League. I've seen the amount of money they spent on production, and also the amount of money they've made from people viewing the game. Look, StarTimes, Omaboka, they are at massive loss. Oh yeah, they don't make profits. It's not a profitable venture to broadcast the Ghana Premier League.
If it is not a profitable venture, why were they still negotiating to extend the relationship?
Good, because they've made significant investments in this part of the world. That so the amount of money that they are making from the Ghana Premier League only keeps the work running. It doesn't break even, right, on the investment they've done to even start making profits. So it's like hand to mouth. It's hand to mouth business that they are doing in the Ghana Premier League. Right now that the Ghana Premier League is going to be a no for them. It is very possible that the company folds in a matter of months, because that's the only thing that kept people coming to the box. But even the number of people who were coming to the box wasn't profitable enough, right? And they've done this for what, 5 years or so or more.
Yeah.
And they've not broken
in fact, if you had to go back to 2016, they've actually done it for more than that, considering the fact that they had signed a 10-year deal with the FA.
So it's, I understand the FA. A contract is a contract. A deal is a deal. Look. Nobody is privy to the deal. Nobody really knows why StarTimes are not looking at paying the money, even though I know that they are not making profit. But maybe the FA also had to meet certain demands. They didn't meet it, and they started to say, okay, they're not going to pay. Or for the FA, as once the deal is signed, you have to pay that money. But that throws a massive problem into the face of our football, because if a company like StarTimes couldn't make profits from broadcasting our league, and we are not going to go back, because Sports don't want the league, they don't want it. Like MultiChoice don't want the league. As far as
is that actually true?
As far as I know, at least the last 2 years they've not wanted it. Right?
Okay.
Because they themselves are going through some financial crisis. The team in Ghana are trying to convince the big house that they needed to make sales in Ghana drive high, but they're also looking at other things and diversifying other interests. So maybe they can come back to the table, that is fine. But if StarTimes couldn't broadcast the league to make profit, then that throws a massive question to what kind of venture we are running. How is that other places are making profits from broadcasting their leagues? People are paying toward their leagues, but in Ghana we are having that problem. At the end of the day, it's a legal matter, so we'll wait for it to go to that extent. When it becomes a legal matter, contracts will be open. And one of the reasons why it's so difficult to speak to this issue is that even the club owners don't know what deal the FA signed with StarTimes.
And it takes me back to one of their deals with Bet Power, when Bet Power could easily walk away. I remember being told about, in one of their conversations, about some of the things that the FA had gone into an agreement with a company, and there were no penalties if anyone decides to walk away. And I found that quite weird. But in this instance, it appears the FA actually hold a certain position, which is that we had agreement for us to get benefits A, B, C.
Yeah.
If we are not getting the benefits A, B, C, then we'll go through these processes to be able to get our money.
Yeah, so when it goes to court, it will be interesting. I'll be surprised that StarTimes will sign the deal without telling the FA that we expect that your product, right, which you manage, gives us these number of eyeballs over a season. We expect that at the end of the season, people coming to the games to aid in broadcast will be these numbers. We expect that when we go to every venue, we would see the advertising hoardings in StarTimes, right? So I am sure that there are also conditions that StarTimes should have given in this deal, and I know that the FA might not have fulfilled all of that, because for the least one that is so obvious, having StarTimes at all match venues, advertising hoardings at all match, it wasn't there. It wasn't. So maybe StarTimes also going to look at few things that the FA breached and said, no, we are calculating that as cost. We can't pay that money because you couldn't fulfill that. But again, like I said, it's all speculations now because we do not have the details of the contract both parties signed. Let me go to College CI, please, sir.
That's actually true. But actually, you have worked extensively on this. How did we get here? And in fact, someone would be asking the question: the FA were at the negotiations table with StarTimes when everyone knew that StarTimes owed the FA, and in fact, owing them was a breach of contract. So clearly, why engage same party that have failed to respect aspects of your contract? They entered with you.
Well, like Sicho said, nobody really knows the terms of the contract. And I think that is one of the things I found disappointing about the Ketokreku regime, because the secrecy and the lack of transparency with which Kwesi Nyantakyi operated. Because I remember Hartsburg flouted one of the regulations in previous broadcast agreements, right? And they got punished for it, but the club did not even know that provision existed because they didn't have a copy of it. This was the Nyantakyi era. Only for us to now see that in under Ketokreku as well, clubs don't know the exact wording, what their obligations are. They just know what the FA tells them, this is what you are supposed to do. But as to how we got here on in terms of the contracts, well, when StarTimes first signed that deal, the exchange rate was a little over 5 cedis to $1.
It was around 6 Ghana cedis.
No, it wasn't up to 6.
It wasn't but it was within that.
Just it was a little over, because I checked with the StarTimes reps, and what I was told was that it was a little over 5 cedis to $1 at that time. In the final year of the contract, the cedi to dollar rate was 17.
They are paying over times 3.
Now, let me break something down for people. Mistakes were made on both sides, because typically in such contracts, you peg the exchange rate to a figure.
And that has always been the practice at the FA. I don't know why that was not done now.
Except in this contract, it was not the case. At least from what we've been told by both parties. So under normal circumstances, you would have had a figure around maybe, let's just say 8, right? So for the duration of the contracts, that is how much they would pay. However, the problem for StarTimes was, and that is something that has never really made sense to me. We do know that they collect subscription payments in cedi terms, but they have to pay the GFA and the clubs in dollar terms. So already there is a deficit from scratch.
Yeah.
But it was a commitment they were prepared to make based on whatever projections that they made. They knew where they were going to get their value from. So they said, that still makes business sense. And they decided to do it. Did it benefit the clubs? Economically, not so much. But they got massive exposure. Because for the first time in the history of Ghana football, we were getting 4 games, sometimes 5 games on one match week. So you would have games on Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, and then on Monday. Then you had the FA Cup games as well. So as far as exposure goes, I think StarTimes just took things to a whole new level. Like what they give in terms of exposure, eyeballs, nobody, not the OMG days, not the GBC, not the Metro TV days, not multi-choice, nobody had done that. So to that extent, you can understand why there's a certain willingness to continue with that relationship on the part of the GFA and the clubs, because when it comes to holding their end of the bargain, if there's anything they didn't do, then in terms of broadcast, then perhaps it would be the magazine shows and the other variety shows that were promised. But in terms of putting the game,
they couldn't do those things because the clubs were not willing to allow them to.
Exactly. I mean, even for the matches that were supposed to telecast, we know that there were a lot of times they will get to the venue and the clubs like Ediana.
StarTimes local partner, Mr. Maswotechi, my former boss, he had invested heavily in high technology, where we see what they do in La Liga before the game.
Yeah.
The lineup is, the players are going to pop up on the pitches. right?
Yes.
But what we need, so we did it for one of the Kotoko games.
Yes.
Kotoko and Hearts games.
I remember.
We had to arrange for a special photo shoot session for these clubs. And even that, the problems we went through to get that done was massive. What StarTimes also told the GFA and the clubs, actually you come in very soon, was that StarTimes themselves will pay and do a photo shoot with the players in their jerseys, right? At the start of the season and after the second round registration.
Okay.
So that you have pictures of players available so that you can do these high-tech things in football matches to make watching captivating and pleasing. So that you can have pictures of players, so that when you're doing graphics about players from studio and everything, it is more like everything we see from the TNT studios, SS studios, and what have you. These clubs told us they can't wear their jerseys on the days they are not playing football. That sometimes their jerseys are some places they have to take it the day before the game. Some of them said no, it won't happen. So the broadcasters will be saying and chip it in.
The picture they're just going to take once, you know.
Yes, that whole segment, that whole picture, and then placing a place on the pitch was agreed to be sponsored by a company. But because that couldn't happen, that money vanished. Because somebody was going to sponsor that
cover the costs.
That 10 seconds. So a lineup of Kotoko players will pop up, lineup of Hearts players will pop up. There was somebody willing to sponsor, pay money to sponsor that on every game. It didn't happen. Why? The clubs didn't make the players available for the photo shoots. How can any business thrive in this environment?
No. So
the StarTimes angle.
Clearly, we will have to go to the Ghana Football Association for this, because you signed the deal on behalf of the clubs, and you let your members.
But
it means that you cannot call your members to order.
But they've always known about this. I mean, right from the beginning, there's nothing that has. There is no aspect of the GFA's obligations that they reneged on, that the FA is at a loss as to how it happened. No, let's not create that impression. They know. But the FA, for example, apart from what Situ has explained, when StarTimes equipment gets to any venue and they are denied access to shoot, there is a VMO there, there is a match coordinator from the GFA there is a match commissioner there, those 3 officers and the regional FA boss, 4. There is no way the FA can say that these things are no, and they even haven't said that they can't say it. So let's not even have that conversation. Now, so if there is any aspect of this that StarTimes may have been given too much room, it was the exchange rates. And Charlie, let's be honest, I don't think in 2016 or in 2017 anyone would have imagined that. And here's the thing: I'm not saying the fact that they couldn't peg the rates at a specific figure was not problematic. That's not what I'm saying. I'm only giving them the benefits of the doubt. I'm saying that yes, typically that's not how it is done. But granted, how many of us listening to this show imagine that between 2016 and the final year of the contracts, there's been one extension in between. The exchange rate was going to jump from, I think, 5.3 or 5.4 at the time they were signing the contract to 17.
Okay,
so that's something clearly they did not legislate for. And then, just to finish, that's something clearly they did not legislate for. Now, at the time it got to 17, StarTimes said we need to have a conversation about this because we cannot pay 17. FA says, okay, let's find a middle ground. So they had those discussions, and first quarter this year, in fact in January, an agreement was reached. So for those who saw the Odro Safo interview where he said StarTimes are returning in February,
you and I actually collaborated to do one story.
He wasn't lying. He said that based on information that the FA had passed on to the Executive Council, that we have an agreement, we have reached a middle ground. That middle ground was...
StarTimes sent one of their managers from China to come and have the negotiation. It was during that period that the FA, because for the company to send, the FA knew that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But when the negotiations were happening, some other things happening, that was when it fell through.
Was it also around the time Sporty TV were in the picture to acquire the rights?
Around that time.
You see, I think the marketing department of the Ghana Football Association they were quite smart in this area. Jamil and his team, learning from the experience of what happened in the deal with the FA Cup, where those days when they signed the deal, it was $1 to 1 city. They were like, oh, since it is $1 to 1 city, then let's just make it cities. So they decided to make the deal cities. So in the end, the FA felt that no, if we had made the figure dollar, we would have benefited. But in this instance, now the city has depreciated to the extent that it no longer has value to be able to give the clubs anything. So I'm sure based on that experience, and in fact, Jamil was the consultant of the FA then for that deal. And I'm sure he probably used this.
No, but again, you see, Muftau,
the point is that
that is not a matter that they can claim any kind of victory or credit.
I'm just finishing.
Then you get your money.
That's the point.
No, I'm just finishing here.
Me, I won't pay. You signed the thing be 5, right? I be 70. Isn't my fault to count it?
And you see, even beyond the action, Muftau, where I feel that I don't even want to entertain the idea that the marketing department deserve any credit is that beyond being able to sell it and go to negotiate, it is your job to also be part of executing it so that your money comes back to you.
Yeah.
You don't fold your arms and sit and watch clubs decide that we are not going to help in giving StarTimes the money they are supposed to. We are going to refuse to allow them to broadcast some of these matches. We are going to allow our own members to denigrate that product. When you allow some of these things to happen, and you see, the final point I'm going to say is this: when you allow these things to happen, you erode a lot of value. Going forward, I want StarTimes to come back for the simple reason that there is no other media partner that is going to give us the kind of coverage StarTimes was given, especially for the money that they were paying the Ghana Premier League. Let's not kid ourselves. There is no value on the league that anybody would want to. They had to fund the full cost of production. In the 1 year that they have been away, have you seen the dross AFA has been 7 Ghanaians?
yes.
So it is in the interest. Look, as for the money,
yes,
StarTimes will not say that they will not pay.
I want us to do the Europa League thing, but just give it some few minutes to do these things. But I think the legal team of StarTimes should have pegged the dollar at a specific amount. And I know the previous FA did.
No, but Charlie, see, that is water under the bridge. And no matter what happens, I have said they will pay. But going forward, you are losing because now you have a product that is a poison chalice. Nobody is going to touch it. Certainly not under the terms. See, mark it on the wall. If StarTimes don't come back, nobody is going to give you 4 games a week.
But reports have already made that SuperSport is interested.
That's what No, they can be interested. They may get it. But the standard StarTimes give us 4, sometimes 5 games a week. Let's see it.
I don't know if I can say this too, but I know that as part of this SuperSport or DSTV strategy for the year 2025, the Premier League was a consideration. But there was a meeting that happened just a few weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago. It never came up. And I think such a huge product where huge money is going to be invested, at least they would have mentioned it at that meeting. But it never came up. But we cannot tell. Maybe their plans are up there in SA, and then when they reach an agreement, then at least there will be something that will be firmed up. The heat is officially on. Big Chef Gina season 4 is here, and the competition just got tastier. This season, our young culinary stars are stepping into the spotlight, turning up the flames, bringing their A game, creativity and passion as they battle it out in Ghana's most exciting Gina cooking competition. Who will rise and who will get chopped? You have the chance to vote for your favorite to stay in the competition via the short code *711 *60 hash *711 *60 hash. Don't miss a single moment of the heat, the drama, and the flavor. Big Chef Gina season 4 shows every Sunday at 4 p.m. only on Joy Prime. Sponsored by Fritol Vegetable Oil, Fortune Spread, Indomie, Gino Tomato Mix, Day Purified Drinking Water, Level 2 Feminine Wash, Kivo Hot Pepper, and Ready Vitamin C. Big Chef good meals by case. And have you ever pictured yourself walking through the dazzling streets of Malaysia, shopping at night markets, or lounging on the sun-kissed beaches? Well, get ready to turn that dream into reality. Your superstation, Joy 99.7 FM, in partnership with Adansi Travels, is making it possible. One lucky listener will win an all-expense-paid trip and join Akofa to Asia in August. It is the Escape to Asia with Akofa promotion. To be part of this promotion, you can call into Ignition from the 19th to the 29th of May and sing any of the jingles that will be played randomly throughout the show. One winner will be selected each day for the next stage. This is going to be exciting and truly rewarding. Remember, you must have a valid passport to be eligible for this promotion. Escape to Asia with Akofa, rewarding loyalty. And just a quick one, the rep your jersey once again. Ghana, are you ready? The battle has been drawn. Are you ready for the clash between the Italian giants Inter Milan and French giants side PSG? One dream, one cup, one final chance. Who will carry the trophy home? Swag up your jerseys irrespective of your football clubs. Get ready for loads of fun, entertainment, and amazing prizes to be won at the Aviation Social Center, starting as early as noon as we climax the UEFA Champions League in grand style. Activities include the Jama Wash and Field Contest, a sports quiz, 5-a-side soccer, the Champions League anthem competition, and many more. The His FM Rep Your Jersey 2025, mark the day, Saturday 31st May 2025. Venue is the Aviation Social Center, and the time is noon till late. Follow us on our social media platforms using the hashtag Rep Your Jersey. The His FM Rep Your Jersey is powered by Joy Sports and Joy Prime and sponsored by SoccerBet. Your best bet for sports betting, TCL, Inspire Greatness, Franco Trading Enterprise, Steel Phone, Papa Fie, Akono Ginger, Afriwara, Waka Now, Anything Travel, Waka Now, Day for You. Day by day men, strong and refined. ITEL A90, truly durable and colorful. The Game Energy Drink, feel the energy. Citizen Sports, level up your game. Heritage Christian University, educating compassionate entrepreneurial leaders. Shell Talks Legendish, the natural sore throat reliever, Flame Condoms, Ignite Your Passion, DSTV, feel every moment. Unfortunately, we cannot do the Europa League because we've run out of time. We have to join the BBC for the World Service. This has been Sports, I almost say Sports Zone. This has been Game Plan with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. And I did it with Stitch of Ashiram Philip, Victor Achitamaklo. Earlier, Lieutenant Arthur was here with us. And Fentio Tahiru, Christopher Nimley, Daniel Cranton, they join us all the way from Tumu. They are there for the Tumu Community Cup, which is happening in Tumu. We appreciate your company. Head on to myjoyonline.com and read some more sports stories.
We'll speak to some Harvard students on their fears